The James Hall Museum of Transport on Rosettenville Road in Johannesburg will host the Aluta Anova Festival of Museums on the 3rd of June, with the goal, of course, of fostering a museum-going culture amongst young people. The event has a wide variety of entertainment, including a music lineup, museum visits, exhilarating rides on a vintage 1952 London bus, art activities, and a variety of regional foods that reflect the rich legacy and history of Johannesburg. Well, joining me now to discuss this is Vuyisile Mshudulu, who is the City of Joburg's Arts Heritage and Director. Dr. Mshudulu, thank you so much for your time and thank you for joining us on the Weekend Report today. I may have given you a title.
To receive the title, but good morning and good morning to the viewers of Newzroom Afrika.
Well, it's a pleasure to give it to you. The festival is of course back, and I don't think we'll ever tire of saying that. I think the last 3 years took so much from South Africans, and to have another treasure like the festival returning to the residents of Johannesburg is certainly something to be excited about.
It's certainly something to be very excited about, but I think what was even more exciting was the fact that, the chief curator along with the team at the museum have been very intentional in curating experiences that are more relatable and more relevant for young people, so that we can try and build a culture of going to museums amongst the young people. And Aluta Anova has been one of those interventions that have been really popular, that have really grown an interest amongst young people to engage with the collections that we have in the city museums. As many of you know, that the James Hall Museum of Transport is really a unique offering in terms of culture and heritage, and it's got a wide collection of modes of transport that have been used for centuries. And this is a gem that has been for many years an open secret in the city of Johannesburg, and I think that we are now trying to be more intentional about how we're trying to promote this. And Aluta Anova is one of those curatorial experiences that bring together young people and infusing in the experience music, culture, an experience of walkabouts in the museum, but also just an interactive relationship with our history as a city and as a people, and maybe infusing a sense of a great aspiration about the future of the city of Johannesburg.
Obviously the festival itself is very much an intentional, a concerted effort at fostering that museum-going culture, as you've mentioned. But I can't help, as a resident of the city, to also just talk about how just walking down certain streets in the city itself can oftentimes feel as though it is a curated experience. The art, the culture, the heritage really comes alive in experiencing Joburg live in real time as the city. So is that being infused in the festival as well, Mr. Mshudulu?
No, certainly. I mean, the content of the festival is curated primarily to try and promote what exists within the museum, but also it is a collaboration of the various functions within the Arts, Culture and Heritage Directorate of the city of Johannesburg, to bring the arts element, to bring the heritage element, and to also promote the museum culture. So, and we have an exciting lineup of artists that will be animating the festival. We will be having food stalls and craft stalls, and people will be able to engage there with those. And people will also be able to see some of these really rare gems in our collection, because we've got many modes of transport, particularly vehicles, that will change the perception of people about where we come from in the evolution of transport in the city. And this is part of building a very strong base of our history and appreciation of our history. And it's Youth Month, and we would like to really reinvigorate a sense of where we come from amongst the young people, so that we can really have a strong foundation of charting our way forward.
Yeah. Now, I know that the city has also launched, or is preparing to launch, certainly in the fourth quarter of this year, a program specifically tailored to the arts, culture and heritage of the city. Talk to us about that, because, you know, the festival forms but one sort of almost a preemptive look into what's coming and the other sort of variety events that are on the horizon.
Well, we have a wide variety of activities that we have curated. Last night we were opening a very interactive, technology-based exhibition that looks at, you know, Africa of antiquity. It is titled the Africa 3D Maze Map. It was quite an exciting opening. We had young children engaging with the content about the evolution of Africa as, you know, the cradle of humankind. And we have a number of activities in different museums, and that museum is at Museum Afrika. That exhibition is at Museum Afrika, and we know that the public is welcome to visit the museum. There are currently 10 exhibitions that are running concurrently at Museum Afrika that people can engage with. And we also have a number of other offerings. The Johannesburg Art Gallery will also be launching an exhibition towards the end of June. We also have a number of capacity building activities to try and build the skills amongst young people in visual arts, in craft, and also in music, so that we can create these artists that we are featuring in various platforms. We're also planning an offering at the Soweto Theatre that is titled Embo, which will also be a musical festival to commemorate June 16 as one of the landmark historical moments in the city of Johannesburg. And these are just a collection of activities that we are planning to try and really activate the Joburg cultural scene and to attract more, you know, cultural visitors into the space, but also to ensure that, you know, because the Joburgers are really hard-working residents, you know, because this is the heartland of the South African economy, that they can have, you know, spaces and places and things to unwind at. And we also have a wide offering in the various theaters that we have. We know that Ladysmith Black Mambazo is currently on at the Joburg Theatre in the Nelson Mandela stage. So these are many, many activities that we have as an offering from the city of Johannesburg.
Right. Well, Gaisang has joined in on this morning's conversation. Gaisang, Sathekge, thank you so much for joining us on the Weekend Report. You, of course, have the impossible task of curating the Aluta Nova festival and really creating an experience for patrons who come and form part of the festival. Talk to us about that. It is coinciding with the kick-starting of Youth Month, and the message is largely geared toward that group, that demographic group. Talk to us about how you've managed to do that successfully, how you've managed to flavor the festival in a way that is attractive to the young cohort. Gaisang, if you could just unmute for us, thank you. Still muted. All right, well, let's throw the question to Mr. Mshudulu, just about the festival being geared toward the youth and that lineup that I think is going to be very exciting for those who are in attendance.
I'm also muted now. On the lineup, we've got, you know, very exciting artists. We have Lelo What's Good, you know, which is really a multidimensional and talented creative from within the city of Johannesburg that will be activating the space. He is considered as one of the creative forces in Johannesburg when it comes to really curating a musical experience. We have Hammer the Dude, you know, one of the pioneering DJs in the area of hip-hop, but also in the Kwaito. And he has a really good ear in really curating a beautiful musical experience for young people. And the way that we have curated this is really to feature artists. I mean, we have Muzi, for example, who is a critically acclaimed artist from within the city. And these are genres that, like Afrobeat, Kwaito, hip-hop, creating musical experiences that are more attractive to young people currently. And this is really the intention, to try and get more young people participating in the culture of going to museums.
Yeah. Gaisang, we'll give you the last word. I hope we finally unmuted and can hear you, but it sounds like an extraordinary lineup, one that is certainly going to be appealing to Joburgers. It comes across as just flavorsome, but the heart of it all is, of course, fostering museum going, getting that culture back as we kind of steal back what was stolen and lost from those COVID years. Your final thoughts on how that festival intends to do just that? Oh, no. Technology has let us down, Gaisang. That's so unfortunate. And unfortunately, we do have to wrap up our conversation there. That was our two guests, of course, Dr. Mshudulu, as well as Gaisang Sathekge, talking to us about the upcoming Aluta Nova Festival.